Welcome, crypto fam, to the number one daily Bitcoin pod. Bitcoin breaking out. We already tapped 65, almost 66,000 here this morning. So let's freaking go. New all-time highs in play. We're also going to be discussing BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, post-September's biggest daily inflow of over $180 million. They eating up that Bitcoin like there's no tomorrow. We'll also be discussing the Biden administration deliberately killed off Silvergate Bank to decapitate crypto. According to Nick Carter, I'll be breaking this down for you. We'll also be discussing NYC's pro-crypto mayor, Eric Adams, indicted on corruption charges. That's right. New York City Mayor Adams said he would fight the federal criminal charges with every ounce of my strength and spirit. We'll also be discussing PayPal enables business accounts to finally buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency. It's about time, PayPal. We'll also be discussing El Salvador's future lies in its Bitcoin reserves. According to Max Keiser and Stacy, Herbert also be breaking down his $1 million Bitcoin price prediction, as well as the latest from this new article he was featured in. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much motherfucking more, in today's show. If you're new to the channel, very important to smash those likes. It's free to do so. Then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure to subscribe to the pod. Then hit the bell icon. Turn on all notifications. Today is pod episode number 1769. I'm your host, JV. It is Thursday, September 26th. Only a few days left till October, and we're already pumping. We already captured 65,000 earlier today. We're still up 1,500-ish at the time of the live stream. Let's kick it off with our market watch, as we do each and every day. We're looking at Coin 360 here on your screen. Shows Bitcoin at 64,800, up 2.35% on the day. We have Ether up 3%, trading just under 2,700. But the majority of all the alts are actually pumping right now, as that crypto market cap is increasing. And speaking of that crypto market cap, we're currently sitting at a 2.28 trillion market cap, total crypto. And the Bitcoin market cap's on the rise at $1.27 trillion. We got roughly 85 billion worth of volume, meaning volume's up 22% in the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance maintaining at 56.2%, with the Ether dominance at a solid 14%. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, we got Sheeb up 20%, followed by Athena up 16%, followed by Wormhole up 14%. Which alts, if any, are you bullish on for the bull? Holla at your boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective on the daily. Whoa, I like it. I'd say safe to say 95% of the market in the green. Send it. And zoom it out on the monthly. Get a broader perspective. Very similar. Maybe 92% of the market in the green. I dig it. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index today, we're dead in the middle of Little Italy. Little did we know that we riddles a middleman who didn't do diddly. Rest in peace, big pun. We're dead in the middle. 50 neutral. Yesterday, 59. Last week, 49. And last month, 48. So there you go, yo. And checking out the time chain calendar, we have 187,017 blocks yet to go until the next halving. Scheduled to take place April 2028. We just had one back in April of this year. Now, checking out the current block height, we're at 862,983, and you can currently trade $1 for 1,544 satoshis. Again, $1 will get you 1,544 sats. So there you have it, yo. Let's dive into today's Bitcoin technical analysis, aka astrology for the broskies. I'll even be pulling up some of the live charts. This headline reads, Bitcoin price 2-month highs. That's right, we just hit 2-month highs on a soft landing, but it may precede sub $60,000 dip, according to some of the analysts. That's right. Here you're looking at a 1-hour chart. Bitcoin tapped 65 Gs after the September 26th Wall Street Open, as the U.S. macro events fueled risk asset gains. Look at that big green candle, family. And I'll be pulling up the live charts here in a bit. Stay tuned. TradingView showed Bitcoin price momentum, delivering 65.5 on Bitstamp, its highest in nearly 2 months. Continued upside came as U.S. Treasury Secretary Miss Binance Janet Yellen boosted hopes that the Fed would achieve a soft landing on inflation. Whatever you say, Miss Yellen. Speaking to CNBC, she painted an optimistic picture of the U.S. economy. One that Fed Chair Jay Powell avoided in prepared remarks at the 2024 U.S. Treasury Market Conference at the New York Fed, quoting them here. As I noted when I spoke at this event in 2015, our nation's entire financial framework has been built around the ability to quickly and efficiently transform Treasury securities into cash liquidity. And Gary comes out of the woodwork. Did someone say securities? I said then that these markets need to keep functioning at a high level, and we all have a stake in making sure that they do. I remain wholly dedicated to that goal. Now, meanwhile, elsewhere, U.S. Q2 gross domestic product data came in line with expectations at 3%, while jobless claims fell slightly below anticipated levels. And the S&P set a new intraday record high on the day, continuing a rally that gathered pace after Powell announced the first interest rate cuts in 4 years on September 18th. That's right, they just reduced rates a half a point, which is 50 basis points. And I heard China is doing something similar. Now, commenting trading resource, the Keiser letter pinned the reason for the latest gains on China. Speaking of China, which itself announced various fiscal stimulus moves this week as well. Are they working in cahoots or something? This is only the beginning, it wrote in part of a dedicated thread on X. Now let's discuss possible retracement and targeting Bitcoin back down to 57,000. According to SKU, here's what they wrote. So given the large gap now, would want to see more structure develop or a nice consolidation before continuing higher. The bad outcome would be a full retrace with weakness, and I think they're going to reference the I think maybe a gap here, $62,000 level. They show in the bid liquidity currently at. And we also have Well Panda said that more time was needed to be convinced of the Bitcoin price strength, noting the major options expiry due September 27th, which we know is tomorrow, Friday. Quoting him here, Bitcoin being above 65,000 ruins a lot of the lower highs forever. I do expect this to be a struggle, though, since tomorrow is a large quarterly options and futures expiry. So anything happening in the next 24 hours, just noise, according to the analysts. Meanwhile, another one, Justin Bennett, nonetheless goes further, warning a return below 60,000 was still possible. Quoting him here, this isn't confirmed yet, but the conditions favor sweeping the 58,000 longs before targeting 68 to 70,000 liquidity and validation on a sustained break above 65 G's, baby. So let me know. Do you think we'll likely retrace or continue to bust out towards price discovery? You let me know and I'll read your comments out loud. Now let's check out some of the live charts, fam. This is live and in the flesh via TradingView via Coinbase. You should be able to see cleanly on your screen. This is the 1 hour chart. We do have a nice little rectangle formation you can see formed, but we also have a very bullish target sitting just shy of $67,000. So let's freaking go. And so only a bullish target on the 1 hour. I mean, look at that 1 hour candle. We had that big fat one earlier today, which sent us to where we're currently at. And we'll zoom out some. We'll check out the 4 hour chart again, live and in the flesh, family. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure to share it, spread the word, holla. We appreciate it. We do have that blue target right here sitting at 81.3 on the 4 hour chart. And we do have a bottom target sitting all the way down at 39. You know what I mean? And zooming out from there, we'll check out the daily. And the daily chart shows us a rising wedge formation. Definitely bullish there. Pretty lit. You can see that staircase has been climbing. We do have some bottom targets that need to be on your radar. We do have a 47.7 target as well as a bottom target in the green. You can see on your screen sitting all the way down at 39.2. And from the daily, we'll check out the weekly, and then we'll go to the monthly. The weekly still has the sexy cup and handle pattern sitting at 124.4. Por favor. Can we hit this Q4 of this year, sometime between October and December? You let me know, because that's my actual target for this year, is the height. For not the cycle, but for the year. Let me know if you agree, disagree, and let me know. And zooming out on the monthly. Let's check it out and get a broader perspective here. Again, live and in the flesh. We had like 6 months of sideways trading action, but before that, we had 6-7 months of green consecutive monthly closes. Do you think this month of September will end up being up September or September before we enter October? Let me know, family, and I'll read your comments. Anyways, fam, lots to share. Let's get into the news and the headlines, shall we? Here we go. This headline reads, BlackRock Bitcoin ETF posts September's biggest daily inflow of over $180 million. Not too shabby for a daily worth of volume. You know what I mean? Check this out. The world's biggest asset manager, Larry Fink's BlackRock, attracted 184.4 million inflows September 25th yesterday for the spot Bitcoin ETF, marking the month's highest daily inflow of any fund. The Bitwise Bitcoin ETF, BitB, was the only other fund to see inflows on September 25th, pulling in a modest 2.1 million, while Fidelity's Wise Bitcoin Origin Fund and ARK21 shares, ARK-B, had outflows of 33.2 milli and 47.4 milli, respectively, according to The Far Side. Y'all remember the comic series The Far Side back in the day? That's what I think about every time I see that, but nonetheless, I digress. So yeah, BlackRock's post largest daily inflow of September right here. BlackRock's iBit had led September with the largest daily inflow of 184.4 million, while FBTC, the funniest ticker name, by the way, FBTC, and ARK-B trail behind with 102 million and 99 million on September 13th, respectively, as outlined right here in the green. Now, for the fifth consecutive day, the total cumulative flows into the spot Bitcoin ETFs were positive, amounting for almost $500 million over the period. The streak follows the Fed's much anticipated decision to implement the 50 basis point rate cut, which is half a percentage point, a move for the crypto industry they've been eyeing throughout 2024. And again, they haven't cut rates since 2020, so it's been a long time. And following the September 18th decision, Bitcoin reclaimed 60 G's, a level it hadn't seen since August 30th, yo. Now, CryptoQuant founder and CEO opined that the increase in demand for the spot Bitcoin ETF is a crucial reason why the U.S. is regaining dominance in the Bitcoin holdings compared to the rest of the world. As he shared here on X, the U.S. is regaining dominance in Bitcoin holdings. Its ratio compared to the other countries is rising, driven by the spot Bitcoin ETF demand. Only known entities are included. Now, on September 23rd, as reported, BlackRock filed for the amendment for its Bitcoin ETF, following widespread investor concerns over ETF custodian Coinbase's on-chain settlement practices. BlackRock's amendment requires Bitcoin withdrawals within 12 hours from Coinbase, and increasingly, investors have been asking Coinbase to provide on-chain proof of the Bitcoin bought on behalf of the spot ETFs, and we want proof because we don't trust these mofos. What if they just have paper Bitcoin, aka IOUs, and don't actually have the underlying asset? We got to hold them accountable some way, somehow. So we shall soon see. Our next story, we discussed the ETF inflows, which are massive. Now let's discuss this war on crypto, which Nick Carter points out. Biden administration deliberately killed off Silvergate to decapitate crypto. According to Nick Carter, that's right. The former crypto-friendly bank Silvergate likely would have survived had it not been forced to voluntarily liquidate their assets by United States regulators trying to decapitate the crypto industry. Industry executive claimed, quoting Nick Carter here, "I believe Silvergate could have survived this drawdown and was on path to do so," said Nick Carter of Castle Island Ventures. He cited Silvergate's bank's recently bankrupt filing, and conversations with sources revealed that President Biden's administration told the bank it must cap crypto deposits at 15% or face consequences. What's up with that, Mr. Gensler? Anyways, for Carter, this information reinforced that Operation Choke Point 2.0 is real, a term he coined in March of 2023 to describe a rumored coordinated effort to discourage banks from holding crypto or banking crypto firms during the March 2023 banking crisis. All makes sense to me. Quoting them here, "The government's desire to decapitate the domestic crypto industry through convert rulemaking aimed at crypto-focused banks both initiated and worsened the banking crisis of 2023. That's when we had the regional banking crisis, y'all remember? The largest since the great financial crisis in 2008, which led to the inception of the Genesis block of Bitcoin on January 3rd of 2009. That's the silver lining of it, at least. Digital asset companies rely heavily on the banks to accept deposits, enable on-ramps for customers, and pay the expenses. Signature Bank and Silicon Valley Bank, the former banking partners of venture capital firms Andreessen Horowitz and Pantera, were two other crypto-friendly banks that closed in early 2023. Is it just a coincidence, or were they targeted? Carter wrote that the banks face inordinate pressure from the Fed Deposit Insurance Corporation, known as the FDIC, and U.S. senators such as Elizabeth Warren, aka Pocahontas, who demanded details on their relationship with their former banking client FTX. A Silvergate insider told Carter the firm had to comply with a 15% rule or surrender. Quoting them here, they have 8 million ways to shut us down any way they want. When they say you got to do something, you do it. The caps were never publicly discussed or formally opposed as a rule. But when your primary regulator threatens you, you comply or go to jail, right? Carter said that Silvergate's decision to voluntarily liquidate rather than entering the FDIC receivership was also sus. Something Carter found has only happened a handful of times over the last 3 decades. Quoting him here, it's truly a rare thing. In fact, a source told me that when Silvergate leadership expressed its intention to voluntarily liquidate the bank, their California regulator, having no experience with the procedure, was completely unsure of even how to proceed. It's that rare, right? Now, how rarely banks choose to voluntarily liquidate is further evidence that Silvergate was ultimately killed by a regulatory mandate, not the bank run it suffered, he said. The balance sheets of crypto firms recovered strongly when the markets rebounded in the back half of 2023 into this year, which further led Carter to believe that Silvergate would have survived. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that. Quoting him here, if the 15% limit hadn't been imposed, Silvergate would be thriving right now. A person familiar with the matter told Carter, which he agreed with. Carter acknowledged Silvergate wasn't completely innocent. He suggests it could have tightened up its money laundering controls and identified the FTX improper transfers much earlier, as he shared here. But that doesn't mean it deserved to be harassed out of existence. Carter's report comes as Vice President Harris said she wants to use the U.S. to remain dominant in blockchain. Sure you do, Harris. Artificial intelligence and other nascent technology industries. Take anything any politician says with a grain of salt, but I'll leave it at that. What are your thoughts surrounding Silvergate Bank? Do you think that was an orchestrated attack on crypto, as Nick Carter is suggesting? But let's continue with where we left off here in the news. We discussed the Biden administration war on crypto, which is definitely no coincidence. Now let's discuss breaking news with Mayor Adams. New York City mayor just got indicted. They just unsealed the indictment, and he's facing some serious charges. So let's break this one down as we continue to pump it up. Headline here reads, New York City's pro-crypto mayor Eric Adams indicted on corruption charges. I'm starting to think, is it even possible to be a mayor or a major political figure and not be corrupted? Things that make you go, Anyways, New York City Mayor Eric Adams was indicted following a federal corruption investigation, becoming the first mayor in the city's history to be charged while in office. Typically, these mayors end up getting arrested after their term, but he was actually still serving, which is interesting. Even the city I live in Puerto Rico, the former mayor of the city I live in was more recently also arrested for fraud or whatever crimes he committed. So that's why I'm like, is every mayor corrupt? Good Lord. But anyways, Adams' indictment remains sealed. I think they just unsealed it. So this story may have been from yesterday. So I read this morning they unsealed it. But anyways, reading this particular story, it says it remains sealed and is unclear with the charges. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just updated it and they announced the charges. I was hoping this article would break all that down, but it is what it is. He will likely face the court today. I think he already did, when the indictment will be unsealed, and it already has because I already read it earlier. In the statement to the New York Post, Adams said he would fight to prove his innocence. Well, good luck with that one, brother. You're going to need it. He shared here, I always knew that if I stood my ground for New Yorkers, and maybe one of you guys can just pull it up, what were the actual charges in the indictment? And I'll just read that when I'm finished reading the story here, and then we'll read you what the indictment shared. If I am charged, he says, I am innocent, and I will fight this with every ounce of my strength and spirit. And I think very shortly after he made that announcement is when they released the indictment and unsealed it, ironically enough, right? Adams said he would not step down as mayor. Well, if they force you to, brother, you're kind of forced to. Even if he were to be charged, despite calls from his resignation from other senior U.S. lawmakers, including Alexandria Cortez. Adams has been a longtime proponent for the crypto and Bitcoin, taking his first 3 paychecks in Bitcoin and Ether, and promising to make New York the center of the crypto industry when he was elected mayor back in 2021. So has it been 3 years? The charges come following the November 2023 FBI investigation investigation where the agents raided his home. There's also a lot of footage with him and Diddy. Things that make you go, And you remember, let me just just talk to you guys here, and you guys can let me know what the indictment now that it's been unsealed, what the charges were. But it's actually quite hilarious. You know how they like seize thousands of bottles of baby oil from the Diddy residence, and then they asked Diddy's lawyer the other day, why did Diddy have thousands of bottles of baby oil? What? And then the lawyer's like, he's an adult and he has every right to have as much baby oil as he wants. And besides, he lives next to a Costco warehouse and he would just order large shipments. And then Costco responded today to clear the record. They're like, we didn't get any shipments of baby oil to Diddy's houses. Just FYI, for the record. So it's like, hilarious. Let's discuss this PayPal business now allowing crypto, and then we'll discuss the latest from Max Keiser. It was just recently featured in a major, basically like a news, I don't know if it's even a newspaper, but magazine, whatever it is. But anyways, let's dive deeper into this PayPal headline. Give me a second to pull it up. So yeah, PayPal enables business accounts to buy, sell, and trade crypto. How many of you use PayPal to buy crypto? I don't recommend it, but nonetheless, let's break this one down. In a September 25th announcement, payment giant PayPal, I'll tell you this, just like the Jizza said, Tommy ain't my motherfucking boy. You remember Tommy Boy Records? I'll say this. Pay ain't my motherfucking pal. Revealed that, and also JPal ain't my motherfucking pal. Revealed that PayPal business accounts now have the ability to buy, sell, and trade crypto directly from their PayPal accounts. The new functionality will be available across the U.S. and all U.S. merchants, except those in New York. Why does New York have the most unfavorable regulations when it comes to anything to do with money? It just sucks up in New York. I don't get it. Anyways, Jose Ponte, the senior vice pres of blockchain, crypto, and digital currencies of PayPal, had this to say about the new feature. Business owners have increasingly expressed the desire for the same crypto capabilities available to the consumers. We're excited to meet that demand by delivering this new offering, empowering them to engage with digital currencies effortlessly. Laura, it's going up forever. Meanwhile, merchants using the service will also have the option of withdrawing their digital asset to external wallets, about time, or colder forms of storage for added security. That's kind of funny, colder forms of storage. PayPal enters the stablecoin game as well. In August of last year, PayPal launched PYUSD. Their stablecoin, the PayPal US dollar stablecoin, was issued by Paxos and is fully over-collateralized, meaning the stablecoin is backed by the US dollar deposits and short-term cash equivalents. PYUSD is fully redeemable at a 1-to-1 ratio with the US dollar. Yeah, yo. The payments company later expanded PYUSD to the Solana network, citing Solana's significantly lower transaction costs. PayPal hopes that these lowered costs will encourage the use of PYUSD for the smaller purchases, such as coffee or lunch at a restaurant. Typically, smaller purchases are prohibitive on lower throughput blockchains that come with the higher fees and the slower finality times. To put that into perspective, a transaction on Solana could be as low as 0.0025. It's like a fraction of a penny. But transactions on Ethereum can cost double-digit figures. I remember those days. I remember seeing gas fees as high as $500 to send $10 worth of Ether back in the good old days, especially during times of network congestion. And as a bonus, PayPal announced the PYUSD on Solana would feature confidential transactions. Let me just tell you this. Nothing related to PayPal is confidential, family. I mean, come on now. But anyways, a method of obscuring the payment, so they say. Trust nobody, verify everything. More recently, PYUSD has grown to $1 billion market cap, but still lags behind Tether, which is like probably 120 billion. Yeah, 118 billion market cap. And Circle USDC has a 35 billion market cap. All I know is this. I do not trust PayPal. I've always hated and despised PayPal, and my mind hasn't shifted since then. Back in the day, as an affiliate marketer, I needed to accept payments to sell products as an affiliate, etc. I'd always have issues with PayPal. You know what they would do? They'd freeze your account for 6 months, and you're not able to withdraw any of your funds. And they would say, oh, too many transactions, red flag. Now you can't touch your funds for 6 months. So I have no trust for PayPal. As I said earlier, Pay is not my pal, not my pal. I don't recommend them. And if you're going to use them to do something crypto related, send your crypto immediately to your cold storage wallet or forever hold your peace. Because just as they used to freeze my account for 6 months for just retarded reasons, they can probably do the same to you. Let's just make it very clear. They are enemies of mankind. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? They're not the good guys. And they definitely are entering crypto because they don't want to be left behind, not because they love Bitcoin. In fact, I dare say they probably despise Bitcoiners and they just want your Bitcoin. There, I said it. I don't like PayPal. Never will. Now for our feature story of the day, fam. El Salvador's future lies in its Bitcoin reserves, according to Stacy Herbert and Max Keiser, the one and only. Shout out Max and Stacy. As you know, I'm a huge fan of the two. It's actually my favorite power couple in crypto, or I should say in Bitcoin, hands down. They were just recently interviewed from this news source, De Dinero, if I'm pronouncing that one right. And I'm going to read you some of the highlights. And before we dive into the content matter here, I also want to read you one of the quotes from Max regarding some of his predictions. I shared this a while back, though. This was like a year ago, but nonetheless still relevant because we haven't hit the targets yet. Here's what he wrote. Bitcoin is designed to be attacked. So when the EU says we'll need to attack the price of Bitcoin, that is music to the Bitcoiner ears because all the attacks mean greater hash rate, greater security, and higher prices. Bitcoin is designed to be attacked, and the more you attack it, the higher the price goes. So we welcome the EU attacks, the IMF, and Christine Lagarde, and the central banks and Federal Reserve Bank. Please attack me so that my price can go to 100,000, 200,000, 1 million per coin. Thank you. No, thank you, Max. I know it's destiny. I know it will happen. Only a matter of time. All we have to do is hodl. So here we go. El Salvador is currently sitting on 5,884 Bitcoin in its state reserves, according to data published by the National Bitcoin Office of El Salvador on bitcoin.gov.sv. In respect to them for, publicly giving us this info so you can actually see what they really hold as a reserve. Pretty lit. Now for Max, President Bukele's chief Bitcoin advisor, these holdings are a reflection of the bright future for El Salvador, as Max believes that all countries in the world will adopt the Bitcoin standard in the coming years. Let me repeat that. All countries in the world. And strategic reserves will put the nation ahead. Let's go. Adopting the Bitcoin standard will mean that all products will be priced in the digital currency, and transactions for all products will be made in that currency. We're talking about the Bitcoin. Bitcoin is perfect money. Gold is a very good it says gold is very good as a form of money, but it's not as good as Bitcoin. Bitcoin is perfect as a form of money. Preach. The future of El Salvador is in its Bitcoin reserves. It is a gateway to the future of El Salvador, and the more it has, the brighter the future is. That is why people buy Bitcoin every day. It is like when an individual saves Bitcoin, they are expectant for the future because their purchasing power increases. And great point. Your purchasing power in Bitcoin is mathematically guaranteed to continue to increase as it has been for the past 15 years. And your purchasing power of the dollar is mathematically guaranteed to decrease as it has been since the inception of the fiat Ponzi monopoly tulip bowl mania money. In this context, it's important to bring a bit of history to the table and understand why. Gold and Bitcoin are considered good safe haven assets. For centuries, gold has been seen as the best form of money due to its characteristics such as its durability over time and its difficulty to be mined, which ensures that it loses little value over time, and that is its scarcity has made storing this metal mean having wealth that remains almost the same over the years. However, although it has good characteristics, gold is very difficult to transport. So it was decided to create what we know today as paper money, which in previous centuries served as a representation of gold holdings that were difficult to transport. Shortly after that event, governments decided to centralize the world gold reserves as well as the issuance of paper money. However, the year that marked the destiny of what we know today as 1971, a period in which the U.S. President Richard Nixon suspended the gold monetary regime. Boo! It was decided that paper money would not be backed by anything throw tomatoes at that guy. And although there were people who own a lot of gold today, most people only know paper money, preach, which, as it has no emission controlled by the governments, as it's infinite, only grants inflation and devaluation, and it keeps the slave race enslaved. Real talk. Bitcoin emerged as a solution to the constant devaluation of money, as it works on a completely decentralized technology, which works if all users with nodes approve the transactions, which constantly increases the difficulty for its issuance and is limited to 21 million units. In other words, it is completely scarce, offering true scarcity. The first time in human history we have perfect money with true scarcity, family, and which cannot be changed because it is motherfucking immutable. Can I get an amen? The latter in detail is what makes it an improved version of gold, as it is conditioned by the movements of supply and demand. With a limited supply, any increase in demand will increase in its value. Damn straight. Now, everyone, quoting Keiser, is moving towards the Bitcoin standard, just like we used to be on a gold standard. You had gold in your treasury that you would trade with other countries. And countries with a lot of gold did a lot of trading and grew and became bigger countries. On a Bitcoin standard, El Salvador will have Bitcoin in reserves in their treasury to trade with other countries because no other country will accept fiat. They don't want paper money, and they're looking to accept gold. And Bitcoin is demonetizing gold the same way gold demonetized silver. Now, El Salvador has designed a daily Bitcoin purchase strategy, buying 1 coin per day. In this regard, Stacy Herbert, director of On BTC, said that this action is a sign of the Salvadoran president's vision, referring to Bukele, quoting her here. It is step by step. In the long scheme of history, this is an extraordinary, rapid transformation of El Salvador. But every day you have to add and build on that vision. And the vision is always upward. Step by step, you go upward. She also noted that the nation is the most transparent on the issue, as anyone can know how much Salvador owns. El Salvador. That's right. Quoting her again. El Salvador is now the most transparent government in the world because you can see our strategic reserves. Do we know how many dollars the United States prints? Do we know how much gold the Fed keeps? Nope. We don't know that information, and we are not authorized to know. Instead, everyone in the world can go to the bitcoin.gov.sv site, and they can see the reserves of El Salvador. Stacy Herbert makes some great points here. Now, finally, the president's advisors stated in the coming months, the On BTC will focus on the creation of Bitcoin banks. Bitcoin banks, please stand up, which are important for generating capital markets. The government had already proposed a private investment bank in the Legislative Assembly, which will allow investors to grant loans to any of the legal currencies, dollars, or Bitcoin. Imagine being able to borrow against your Bitcoin and then paying off the loan and getting your Bitcoin collateral back. Well, that's happening with the Bitcoin banks in El Salvador. Quoting them here, quoting Max. El Salvador is attracting investments because it'll be the first country with a Bitcoin bank. That means that entrepreneurs can use their Bitcoin as collateral to implement some leverage in their companies. Just because you have Bitcoin as your base layer doesn't mean you have to make leverage efforts. And with a Bitcoin bank that allows you to deposit your Bitcoin and lend with your Bitcoin, you have the opportunity to create new companies. As a part of how capitalism works, Bitcoin is perfect capital. Preach. So there you go, yo. And as I pointed out, please attack me so that Bitcoin can go to 100,000, 200,000, 1 million per coin. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the Keisers and the latest with what I just shared with you. And shout out Bukele again, El Salvador, the rest of the fam. Shout out everyone just tuning in, and welcome to the Q&A segment of the live stream.